Hello, my single solitary viewer, Flouze Maker here, and it's NHL 21 time. Our Be a Pro, Sten Stone, has been drafted first overall in the 2020 draft by the New York Rangers, one of the original six. He's going to have his home games in Madison Square Garden of our places, a storied hall for hockey. It's been a long time since the Rangers have won a Stanley Cup, since the 90s with Mark Messier and so on, and they're in the midst of a youth movement to rejuvenate the team for a bright future. But how bright is Sten's future? The preseason will begin soon, and can he make the team? It's immediately press conference time, and the babbling Sten will get to face the microphone. Sten Stone, you are the first overall pick. How do you feel right now? And here I again have the choice between team likability or building Sten's brand. So it doesn't really matter like what Sten would actually say. Because we're going for the stats. So I'm happy, of course. Whatever I get, I'm sure it's what I deserve. With the star answer, and the brand likability goes up quite a bit with that. Now we look forward to seeing you in action, Sten. Do you expect to get a lot of ice time in the preseason? And again, I'm torn. I'm trying to figure out like what is the best answer, and I think I decided to go with the team answer, because hoping to get the management on my side will get the give Sten the opportunity of getting to play minutes. My first Be a Pro struggled a lot during the preseason because they were stuck on the third line with low talent players, and they really had to carry all of the burden of point production. And so I don't want Sten to be suffering too much from that. Sten's GM Troy Farrell says, "Hello, Sten. We met a few weeks ago before the draft. I'm Troy Farrell, GM of the New York Rangers, in case you forgot, because, you know, I don't know why he would. On behalf of the entire organization, I want to formally welcome you to the team." Oh, I'm really excited, said Sten. I'm excited. "We've been watching your performance through the tournament, but I wanted to ask you personally, Sten Stone, how would you describe yourself as a player?" This is the kind of question you needed to ask before drafting me, is what Sten should answer. But I think, again, like I'm trying to go, do I go team? Do I go star? Usually the way I play on the ice builds the team, but again, I'm thinking I want Sten to be at training camp here in the preseason and be given a chance to play. So I'm taking the team way, and we'll build the brand a little bit later on. For now, I want the teammates to like Sten so that he has a chance of making the team during the preseason. That's where I'm headed. Since the draft, there's been a lot of off-ice training for Sten, and now he's got some extra points to spend in his skill tree. And what I'm going to do is I'm ultimately going to buy a specialty slot that costs 3 special skill points, and that doesn't leave me enough skill points left over to fill it with a specialty that is useful for Sten. But at least it's already, the slot is going to be available for at some point in the future when I do get points. And I'm going to go to unlock some dialogue options again, because, hey, we want to see the cutscene scenarios for Sten. We don't need him to perform well on the ice. But in terms of performing on the ice, during the off-season training, I made sure to focus on skating so that he would be skating with a lot of speed. And almost all his training went into skating because he started out as a power forward, very sluggish and slow, and I need him to keep up with the other players to make the team. Sten needs to have another sit down. It's a conversation with his coach, Monsieur Dupuis. "Okay, Stone, with the season around the corner, it's time we talk about expectations for our first-round pick." And now here are the choices between team and star, and in this case, I will ultimately choose to build star power, build up Sten's brand. I think I've done enough to give him a little bit of a chance with the team in the dressing room, and now I gotta try and make him a star. So I know you'll be going for the Calder Trophy, Sten, and I'm okay with that. but we are looking forward to having a great season as a team as well, and if we can both, it's a win-win situation. Makes sense, coach. Yeah, that's Sten's voice. Makes sense. All right, that's what I wanted to hear, but it's see ya, says Sten. Okay, that can't be his voice. I need to find a voice for Sten. First preseason game, no objectives at this time against the Philadelphia Flyers. I simulate straight into the second period, and that's where we start. And at this point, the Rangers have the lead in the game, 2-0. And this is Sten officially. It's not, technically speaking, it's not his first shift because we simulated the first shift in the first period. But this is the first live played first shift, and he already loses the puck. But here comes D'Angelo. He's very patient with the puck, passes back to Trouba, big shot. He scores. You can see in the little corner there, that gives Sten an assist, his first preseason point on his first shift. It's an assist. And he really didn't need to do all that much. He just needed to take one hit for the team and let the defenseman take care of the rest. So the coach, Marcel Dupuis, he wants to know, Sten, we're in control. Don't let your foot off the pedal, but let's not get too fancy. So again, I need to choose between team and star. And during the game, I'm not confident in Sten's ability. He just got a point, but I'm not confident because that point was gotten just by sheer luck. Really? I didn't have to actually do anything to get that point. So I'm going with the team option of, which is a much more easy to obtain goal. And the game continues. As we continue playing, I actually finally noticed that Sten is not actually playing on the third line with the crappy players. He's actually playing with number 72, Philip Hedl, and number 10, Artemi Panarin, which is basically the top line. So here comes Artemi, like really just being a dominant player. Sten picks up the puck and immediately already picks up a second assist. That was a pass to Panarin. Panarin cross-creased through to Hedl, and Hedl just puts it in. And immediately, I'm realizing that Sten's story is going to be very different from my other Be a Pro, because all he has to do is manage to get the puck to his teammates, and they'll make points for him. He doesn't need actual talent. The game quickly turns into a goal fest, and now we end up in the third period. And Sten does the transition, passes in front, just give it to Artemi, and you'll get another point. That's a third assist for Sten Stone in his first preseason game. And the score just keeps getting higher and higher. You can tell that Carter Hart is not in net. And the Flyers are trying out some rookies. Well, actually, that's Reimer. He's nowhere near a rookie. It's just really not going well for him, I guess, today. But it's a nice pass from Sten. I'm surprised it actually went through. Along the way through editing this game, I missed one of Sten's assists because I played through 4 of them. And he actually had a 5th one in the first period, the period that was simulated on the 2 goals. I didn't expect that. I assumed that he wouldn't have a point, but the 2 goals in the first period, one of them includes an assist by Sten. So that's 5 assists in his first game in the preseason, so they're not real points. They don't count for anything. But that's 5 points in a preseason game is a lot of points. That's a lot. I know they're all assists, no goals. Still a lot of points. So I'm going to need to fine-tune the settings, but that reminds me, these episodes take a lot of effort to edit, a lot of time to edit, so if you enjoy them, please tell me so by leaving a like on the video, and maybe, like, showing a little bit of appreciation or disdain in the comments, but help me out here. Just let me know. The coach says, a great way to protect the lead is by playing in their end. Nice going, Sten. Like you said, coach. No problem. So Sten succeeds in his mission that the coach gave him, and that gives him an additional amount of points in his development, and we can finally GTFO of this game. Quit. Sten is, with 5 points, is the 3rd star. Of course, you can imagine that Panarin and Hedl did much better still. But here comes the media. Sten Stone, the first preseason game is over, and you put on quite a show. How did you feel on the ice tonight? How did you feel on the ice tonight? Here, I went with a team. Teammate likability. I decided, you know what? I would like Sten to stay on the first line, so I'll make sure Panarin and Heedle like him. So do you think that you'll make the final roster of the Rangers? And Sten says, I think so. I don't know. I had 5 points in the preseason. I mean, at the end of the preseason, after all the games, if you have 5 points, you did pretty good. And he's got the 5 points now in the first game. So I need to change the settings. I'm reducing the amount of minutes per period. Maybe that'll help. Still no objectives against the Pittsburgh Penguins, but the team is losing after one. So the coach takes Sten aside. Sten, we haven't had any sustained pressure. I need you to change that. I can do that, coach. I'll swing the momentum in our favor, says Sten. And taking the team option because, again, upping the pressure is actually a fairly easy goal to get. And I want Sten to get some points. Amazingly, I have no ill will towards Sten Stone. Even though I'm showing here 2 of his fails of the game, shots that didn't make it to the net or got blocked. And I tried everything, could not make a single point against Pittsburgh. And it's a big fat L for the New York Rangers. Nobody on the team could just find any kind of solution. So it's really complete opposite scenario from the game against Philly. Nevertheless, upping the pressure was done. Not exactly a goal, but they can't score if we M them in their zone, Stone. And Sten is, I'm always going to prefer playing into the offensive zone. Oh, wait, the offensive zone. Yeah, that's where Sten likes to play, the offensive zone. And Marcel Dupuis still has more to say. Hey, Stone, you know you are delivering. Keep up the good work, okay? I don't want to have any doubts when placing you in the team. And here, what am I going to choose? What do you think? Take your bets. That's my jam, coach, right? You know, Sten, that's your jam. That's your jam, Sten? Nah, I went with the team answer. All right. Thank you, coach. Is there anything I can do to improve my game even further? Relax, Stone. You're doing great. And so again, just getting my teammate likability. From the experience with the first Be a Pro, I need Sten to actually gel in the locker room. Still no objectives, but this time it's a rivalry game, the Battle of New York. Rangers versus Islanders. The coach takes Sten aside because his team leads 4-0. Sten, we're in control. Don't let your foot off the pedal. But let's not get too fancy. And I choose here the team option again because the star option is scoring a goal. And I'm not confident in Sten's ability to score a goal, especially since the Rangers switched the goalies and they no longer have like this no-name farm prospect in net that has a really, really low overall. Sten along the boards, flubs the pass, but it makes its way into Artemi's stick and into the back of the net rather quickly after that. The play still worked out for Sten despite the fact he kind of flubbed it. See here, he didn't really make the pass. The defenseman stopped him, but the puck still went through. And of course, from there, Panarin can just put it in the back of the net. Sten picks up an assist. And it's 5-0 for the New York Rangers. Just a little bit later on in the second period, we get the puck back with a nice defensive play here by D'Angelo. Pass in front, Sten shoots, rebound, Panarin gets it, and it's in the back of the net. Sten here couldn't score, of course, because, well, his aim is the utter poop. But he makes the goalie make a big save here, but he's now committed, and it's too late to get back into a new position to try and make a second save here. And Panarin just flips it over him and into the back of the net. So now you can see that this is becoming the give it to Artemi game. Sten steals the puck, back to the point, back to Sten, to Heedle, to Panarin, and it's in the back of the net for the hat trick. Sten picks up a third assist. And suddenly we're getting another blowout here, just like we had against Philadelphia. And I'm a little bit worried in terms of the settings, because I don't want to see these games very often during the regular season. It's difficult to gauge because in the preseason there's a lot of players on trial trying to fight for spots on the team. So there's a lot of low overall rookies that would normally not make the final cut. And you don't know how much they influence the final score in these games because of how poorly they've done. So it's very difficult to gauge. But once again, I'll be reducing the amount of minutes for a period in an attempt to try and keep the scores to something reasonable. Because big blowouts, they've got to be a rarity. Otherwise, it's not gonna be very realistic. We can't have too many 8-1 games in a season without busting all sorts of records. But the coach is happy. A great way to protect the lead is by playing in their end. Nice going, Sten. Like you said, coach, you have to play smart. And you know it's smart to play inside another man's end. No objectives. It's the Rangers versus the Bargain Bin Rangers. And it's 0-0 after 1, 1-1 after 2, and now 2-1. As Mike Hoffman, who has signed with the Columbus Blue Jackets, scores a goal. I show it not because it's Sten's fault. In this case, he was really close to actually intercepting the cross-crease pass. He really tried, extends the stick right here, almost gets it, but does not. And, well, there you go, there's a goal against. I can't say that one is Sten's responsibility. In fact, none of the goals against in this game were actually Sten's fault. But then again, the wingers don't really bear the biggest brunt of the defensive responsibility. Sten, they have all the momentum right now. I need you to take the pressure off of us right now. All I had to do is ask, coach. And he's got to up the pressure for the team play. Unfortunately, that's not exactly how the cookie crumbles. Try as I might, the Blue Jackets just seem to have all the I don't know. They just have to have more. They have more grit. But Sten here gets the puck, big shot, but does not get the assist. There's a goal here, and I've included that one because I've seen human players put the puck in play too soon because, you know, you're really impatient to go on the counterattack. And that's a very human thing to do, but the computer really essentially never does that. But here the goalie puts the puck back in play right on Cody Eakin's stick, and he puts it in. It's just a pure gift. Unfortunately, that gift was not enough. It's 4-2 for the Blue Jackets. It's a big loss again for the Rangers. Another relatively close game. But this time was not able to up the pressure. I wanted you to take the pressure off of us. You need to be better defensive awareness from you, Sten. But don't worry, coach. The next one is going in the net. Whatever, Sten. Like you're bullshitting now. Another day, another game without objectives. This time it's against the Washington Capitals, and things are not going well for the New York Rangers at all. So the coach asks Sten to up the pressure, and Sten thinks he can do that. Upping the pressure would normally be relatively easy, but things need to go your way. And in this game, things are not going the way of the Blue Shirts. Sten makes a pass, back to Sten, tries to shoot but just can't. But Sten calls for the pass along the boards, back to the point. And the defenseman just comes in and dekes the pants off Devin Dubnyk. Pardon me. My apologies to the Dubnyk family. But he just got the pants deked out of him. Who knew Vlad Gavrikov could actually do that kind of stuff? But Sten gets another point. It's an assist. He does not go pointless in this game, at the very least. So there's that. You could consider that perhaps pressure is on the way to being upped. But big deke here for the backhand goal by Gavrikov. And it all stems from that little back pass by Sten Stone. Of course, I'm going to take all the credit. I masterminded that play. Back at the end of the game, empty net. And Sten lost the puck, but his poke check brings him back. Pass in front. Oh, what a bonehead pass. What a stupid pass. And you can tell I'm angry because I just skip over the replay. So see it again. Bonehead pass. You're so stupid, Sten. What kind of pass was that? The coach is very disappointed because he was expecting goals and not a goal direct, not an assist for the other team. Oh, don't worry, coach. Next one's going into their net. Yeah, Sten, that was really bad. You did bad, Sten. None of that was my fault, personally. It was all Sten. Sten did a really bad pass. Though coach now, after a little while, says, oh, you're doing great. As I always say to players like you, don't get too cocky. And, I could select the star treatment for Sten. And at some point, I'm going to start focusing on his brand, but I'm still worried that he might not make the team because now that's 3 losses in the preseason for the Rangers. So I want to see Sten gel with the team, have management and the teammates like him, because that comes first before the brand. Once you've got a solid foundation, you can build a brand on. Then the sky is the limit in terms of getting that star power up. But next up is a game, again, objective-free against the Devils. The Rangers started strong in the first period. The Devils do try that comeback. And here, Sten steals the puck, loses it, but it goes through the goalie's legs, and that's his first goal. And I like that it's been difficult to get Sten a goal. Back in the earlier versions of Be a Pro, scoring was actually too easy, and you'd end up with players just scoring so much they broke all the goal records and in the first season. And that's not something I want to see. I'd like Sten to be able to compete for the Calder, the trophy for the best rookie. I'd like to see that, but I don't want him to be competing for the dominating for the Art Ross in the same season, which is the top scoring player on his first season. I would rather try to avoid that if possible, and not by deliberately nerfing Sten, but by making sure the settings are as good as we can get them. And that's what the preseason is for. Not just getting Sten to make the cut, but also to figure out what the settings we need to have in order to make a balanced season. The last game of the preseason is against Carolina. The game starts out fairly close. Sten loses the puck, but the team keeps it. Sten gets it back to Panarin, and Panarin puts it in the net. Again, just give it to Artemi, and you'll get the points. That's another assist for Sten Stone. Things are going okay for his preseason in terms of points. And, he just gets another, obviously. It's a hat trick for Panarin, I believe, in that game. He's scored the third one, so it's I wouldn't be surprised if actually Sten got a point in the first period that was simulated to try and limit the amount of goals scored in the games. I simulate the first period. I've reduced the game length to 15 minutes per period instead of 20 minutes per period. And despite this, the game still ends in a 7-2 blowout for the Rangers. Of course, this pleases the coach. A great way to protect the lead is by playing in their end. Nice going, Sten. We've seen this one before, and we know that it's very smart to play in other men's ends. But like you said, Coach, Sten gets lots of points. And it's been really a very successful preseason for him, I would say. The coach says, Sten, the preseason is over, and you did great to make it on the regular season roster. And he's got a new line, unfortunately, the second line. And I was just wondering, well, maybe I was dreaming. Maybe I would have failed a drug test taken at that right this moment if I thought that Sten would actually start the season on the first line. I wouldn't expect any less from our first round pick. Things would only get tougher from now on, so be prepared. I'm more than ready, Coach. Me too, Sten. See you later. Yes, so it's all good news except minus 1,000 points for the forward lines because Sten drops down to the second line. Obviously, if Sten played the season from the start with Artemi Panarin and Mika Zibanejad. I think it'd be too easy to get points. So what are the lines? Panarin, Zibanejad, and Buchnevich is the first line. Stone falls to the second with Hedl and free agent signing Tyler Toffoli. They also signed Kasha for the third line, trying to get some right wingers to fill in the roster here. The Rangers have actually gotten worse because, well, first they drafted Sten, so that's bad. They also lost Dylan Strome on the second line center. Dylan Strome, and now Hedl is actually the second line center, and he's not quite as good. He's a promising young rookie, but he's not quite as developed. So Sten might not be getting that many points because he'll be starting with Hedl and Toffoli. And on the blue line is a little weak. D'Angelo, Trouba, and Fox are the standouts. No defenseman is bad, but they're not the bestest. But Igor Shesterkin, I was surprised to see, has 86 overall. That's actually a strong overall. The Rangers lost their legendary goalie, Lundqvist. He was signed with Carolina, actually, that we just beat in this game, in real life with Washington. But yeah, the Rangers have a roster that is pretty good. I feel like this roster should be making the playoffs. Perhaps might be contending for the playoffs. But Sten will actually start on the second line, which is more than he deserves. He had quite a few points in the preseason. 1 goal, 11 assists in 7 games. Will he get that kind of performance in the real season? I should hope not, because that would make a lot of points at the end of the season. A lot of points at the end of the season. I'll need to try and see if I can reduce that further, possibly. We'll have to see. Maybe it's going to be really tough on the second line. Maybe it's going to be real tough. We'll have to see next time.
Sponsored by the Flouze Crew on Patreon.